correspondent with ABC News. We're right along the seawall on Lake Pontchartrain in New Orleans, and just want to show you kind of what we're looking at as far as weather conditions with Tropical Storm Cindy. You can see the waves are crashing all up along that seawall right here. And the water is pretty high, but it was significantly higher this morning. It was actually over the seawall. It was coming over the seawall. You couldn't see the steps this morning. Now you can actually see those steps. So even though the water is high, it's not crashing over and onto the road. Now, as the water has receded, the rain has actually stopped for now, even though we still have this wind. With the rain stopping, this water has been able to drain out a little bit because they have that incredible pump system here in the New Orleans area, and that is getting them to be able to push that water out of here and kind of maintain some dryness to keep the flooding from being too bad. We did have flooding this morning. I kind of want to show you some of what's left over of that water. You'll see right here, this road here, Lakeshore Drive, right along Lake Pontchartrain, was actually closed down because of the flood waters. This was covered with water this morning. Now that has receded, and this road is still closed. It's about 2 miles long of closed roads, but you'll see the flood water just to the other side here across the street. And this is where the water has pooled. What's significant about this is you see how the water settled into this low area right here. There is a levee right there to the side of it that separates this water from an actual neighborhood. You can see those houses over there. And that is what kept this water from Lake Pontchartrain from actually getting into that neighborhood and damaging some of those homes. So the system is working the way that it's supposed to. This is the way that they planned for the system to work. Now the water here still pooling in this area, but none of it ended up in those homes over there. So those families aren't having to deal with any damage, and the water will eventually move back out into where it's supposed to be, which is in the lake. They have an incredible pump system to get that water. One of the problems New Orleans has is because it's so low, it's below sea level, the water, once it gets here, local officials have told us, it doesn't move out like the tide. Like with beach flooding, oftentimes, as the tide comes in, it floods. As the tide goes out, the water recedes. Well, here, the tide comes in, it pushes the water in, it stays because it's below sea level and it's like in the bottom of the sink there, basically. So they have to physically remove it to get it out. And that's why those pumps, you keep hearing us talk about the pumps, those pumps are so critical to get that water out of here and to keep the water from getting high. Right now, though, pretty good weather for the moment. We're waiting to see how this all shapes up. How much rain will we get here to the east of here where there's supposed to be significantly more rain? And that will be the question mark to see how these areas are able to do with that flooding.